Christ told his anointed ones, I sent you as sheep amongst wolves. So be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. That part, innocent as doves, does not mean that we are doormats. It just means, just like the part wise as serpents, that we are alert. Because let me tell you, doves are quite alert. If you see a bunch of doves somewhere and you come too close and they don't trust you, they're gone. They fly away. Even if you have food with you that they enjoy, they can sense if your intention is to capture them. So doves aren't harmful creatures in the sense that they attack other creatures like that, but they are alert. You come too close with the wrong intention, they sense it and they're gone. And if you are too close, they can become dangerous onto you, especially in a group. So Christ told his anointed ones, that means the believers, I sent you as sheep amongst wolves. Now, how do you recognize a wolf? How? If Christ said and sent you as sheep amongst wolves, that means that you must be able to recognize a wolf. Because Christ told you I sent you as sheep amongst wolves. Now, when Christ said this, and I mentioned this before, he was not talking about the pagan rulers of the world. He was not talking about the warlocks and the witches and all of that. He wasn't even talking about the so-called hardened criminals that the society is condemning. Christ was speaking about common people, common worldly people. Now, does that mean that every common worldly individual is a wolf? No. Because understand this, when wolves are out there to hunt, they go in groups, but they spread around. If they all remain centered in the same group as a whole and they go off at the, I would say, and they go off at the sheep, what will happen? The sheep would sense a group of wolves coming and they would flee away. And once the sheep has fled away, it will be very difficult for the wolves to capture them. So the sheep, for the wolves to get to them, the wolves had to spread around. One wolf at the south, two at the north, three in the middle. And to make it better, they kill a sheep or they kill several sheep and they take the identity of the sheep. So they are now in sheep's clothing. And because they are in sheep's clothing, they smell like sheep and they look like sheep. But for this guys to work, the wolves must operate like sheep. You get what I'm saying? So now you have wolves spread around the pasture, and on the pasture they now are looking for prey. But because they are in sheep's clothing, most other sheep won't even notice them. But there will always be sheep that are quite alert and will notice one of them is, this sheep is a bit big, or this sheep walks a bit weird, or this sheep speaks a bit quiet, or on a forced tone, or this sheep smells like a wolf. There will also be sheep that are alert, but many sheep aren't. Look, the way to spot a wolf is by looking at the bigger picture. Looking at the bigger picture is not some magical formula. It's just how you ought to operate. When you look at the bigger picture, you can spot inconsistencies very quickly. And here's the thing, your brain will notice things far earlier than you do. So unconsciously, when your brain registers an inconsistency, your brain releases hormones or causes hormones to be released and makes you feel uncomfortable. And unconsciously, you begin to avoid something. Well, consciously you didn't do it, but because you look at the bigger picture, your brain notices things and unconsciously your brain is working to keep you in safety. Now, I'm not saying that you should rely on your brain. Okay, your brain is there as a tool, absolutely, for you to operate in physical realm. Your brain can also trick you if you've been brainwashed, but nevertheless, your brain has its function and its practical purpose. If you don't look at the bigger picture, your brain likely won't notice warning signals, or your brain won't notice inconsistencies. For example, if you are a captain on a ship and you look in front of you and you see, and your brain notices there's some iceberg over there, your brain sends alarm and you feel uncomfortable. And because you feel uncomfortable, you begin to think what's going on and you look further. If you're a captain of a ship and you never look in front of you, your brain can't notice that something is wrong. You get what I'm saying here? Now your brain is just a tool, but you are a spirit being, not a physical being. Nevertheless, your brain, as the center of your physical body, has its functional purpose. I'm telling you, wolves are far more amongst common people, and there are times when common people, as a collective, are the wolves. And here's the thing: it's not just the predators you need to look out for, also the enablers, those that refuse to look at the bigger picture and operate in line with the bigger picture. Because that's also what you need to consider. If you have a wolf in sheep's clothing, that disguise is fleeting. Because a wolf, no matter how much it pretends to be a sheep, it will always reveal to be a wolf. The only way the illusion can continue that a wolf is really a sheep is when you have other sheep around who, like Judas says, will keep the illusion going. Those other sheep may have their interest in, well, in so-called security that the wolf provides, so-called provides, or they may enable the wolf so the wolf won't see them as a prey. No matter, I don't care what the motive of that sheep is. A sheep that enables a wolf in sheep's clothing is far more dangerous than the wolf itself, because the wolf can be dealt with. Because the wolf is not all powerful. The reason why the wolf in sheep's clothing, because most wolves come in sheep's clothing. They know if they come nakedly as a wolf, they're finished. The reason why the wolf in sheep's clothing, the reason why they're so powerful, or where they become so powerful, is because they have many sheep enabling them. So the enabling sheep is far more dangerous than the wolf itself. Nevertheless, important to spot a wolf, because once you spot a wolf, you will realize that there are enablers around, and sooner or later you will see the enablers for who they really are. Again, be wise as a serpent and innocent as a dove. You know how doves are. They're peaceful creatures. They don't go out there to harm anyone. That's why they're associated with peace. They're not predators. They're not predatory animals. But let me tell you, when you get too close to a dove with the wrong intention, the dove senses it and the dove is gone. And in extreme circumstances, when you try to capture a dove, the dove may turn on you. And that will be very ugly. You don't want that to happen. And then once one dove turns on you, all others around turn on you also. That can become very, very ugly for you physically. Serpents, man, those animals are very sneaky. Even though they often operate individually, not always in groups. Now there are serpents operating in groups, don't get me wrong. Serpents are very flexible. Not only because their body has almost no bones in them, but serpents, they change their skin every, I don't know how, every few days. That's a strategy for them to remain alive. Now you're not literally a serpent, okay? So you're not changing your skin. But what that teaches you is that the serpent knows it needs to adapt and it needs to be alert. Why? Because if the serpent remains with that same skin all the time, that skin will become heavy on him and it will weight him down. So from time to time, the serpent generates a new skin and the old one is left behind. And here's the thing: animals often locate other animals by their smell. So if the serpent has a certain smell and other animals around are used to that smell, they will associate that smell with the serpent. But because the serpent changed its skin every so many days, when they're looking for him, they'll be used to the old smell. But there's the thing, the serpent doesn't have that skin anymore. The serpent now has a new skin. So that same serpent can be around operating. People just don't know it because they're looking for that old smell. And that old smell indeed belonged to the serpent, but he doesn't have that skin anymore. And there's the thing, a serpent, when it sees its prey, it remains at a distance, observes the prey. And when it comes close very slowly, very slowly. But suddenly, when the prey is not alert, bam, the serpent strikes. The venom is in the system of the prey. And because the venom is already in it, it's only a matter of time before the prey collapses. And then the serpent swallows the prey, mercilessly. Man, Christ said to be wise as serpents. Now, he did not tell us to become predators, absolutely not. But serpents, those animals, they are crafty. They are smart. They are alert. They're flexible. You should be far more wise, flexible, and practical than a serpent. Christ used the serpent as a symbol because you can learn from that animal. Being wise as a serpent implies also that when you recognize a wolf, you don't go out there and say, that's a wolf, that's a wolf. No. You recognize the wolf, then you observe the relationships the wolf has with the enablers, who the enablers are, and then you see how it relates. And you're in an environment, right? So you adapt your behavior based on the knowledge you perceived. So if you have a predator around, or several, and there are many enablers, realize this. If the predator is a manager or someone in a corporate world, then there are many employees enabling him because employees want to keep their job. I'm not saying it's the right thing, but often they don't have any other option. Okay? And let's say you're associated with this company. Maybe you're not the employee over there, but you recognize, okay, this is a manager. As a manager, he can have some influence. So you don't speak out against him directly, but you will put him on note. You put enablers on note also, because enablers are the ones making him powerful eventually. And you know why they enabling him, because he's a manager, he has financial resources. So you realize, if this guy or this woman, that manager, would ever target you, he or she will have a bunch of people defending him or her. So you make sure you're out of sight of the predator. Not because you are afraid, but because you're wise as a serpent. Meanwhile, you observe the weaknesses of the predator and of the enablers. And you use those weaknesses to wear them out, so they will not be able to do their evil anymore. You wear them out. And you make sure that you don't have to be dependent on them. You get what I'm saying? This is just an example I'm giving you. Being wise as a serpent. Listen, I'm telling you, spotting a wolf is just the beginning. Too many spot a wolf and think they know the solution, they know what to do. No, look at the bigger picture. Why is the wolf there amongst all those sheep? And the sheep just don't see it. Then the sheep that don't see it are far more risky to you. Because come on, you can't have a predator right over there and people just don't notice it. And here's one more thing you need to recognize, or realize better. A lot of folks have been conditioned by society to enable predators. Because you have predators behind the scenes ruling society. So of course those predators that are exploiting the population will do whatever they can to make people easily exploitable. And the best way to make people easily exploitable is to teach them to enable predators. And that is what's going on. So if many people, let's say if most people in the common population, let's say if most common people have been conditioned to enable predators, they recognize it's useless trying to alert them or wake them up, or give them a wake-up call. A wake-up call can be handy to certain individuals, but collectively common people have been conditioned to defend and even secure predators, even if they know very well those predators are after them. They've been trained to hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. That idiom of those three wise monkeys, that's what they've been taught. Hear no evil, see no evil, speak no evil. So you hear nothing so you hear no red flags, you see no red flags, and you don't speak about red flags. Or better said, turn a blind eye so you're left alone. Mind your own business, mind your own life. Respect people's privacy, respect their will. They have a free will, they can will whatever they will. That is what common people have been taught. And that's how they condition one another. So common people have been conditioned, and they condition one another to enable predators and to overlook the harm predators do, and also to deny their part in enabling it. They don't want to be pointed out to their responsibility. And common people, I'm not saying all of them in actual sense, but common people in general, when you confront them with their contribution to the killing, stealing, and destroying that Satan is doing, man, they'll turn on you. They'll become far more dangerous than a wolf. They'll devour you. Hey, I'm telling you. Christ said, I sent you as sheep amongst wolves. Therefore be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. I'm telling you the same. Be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. That's it for now. Agree with Christ and be at peace.